In the journey of life, there comes a time for each of us when the weight of our experiences feels insurmountable. Moments of failure, loss, or disappointment can be so heavy that surrendering to despair seems like the only viable option. However, before yielding to such bleakness, it is imperative to pause and reflect on a profound teaching from the Buddha. Pain is an inevitable part of existence, but suffering is a construct of the mind, something we have the power to influence. At first glance, this concept may appear implausible. How can suffering be optional in a world inherently filled with challenges? The truth is that our experiences are not solely determined by the events that unfold around us but also by our interpretations and reactions to those events. In this written exploration, we will deeply examine two transformational truths designed to guide you towards resilience in moments when giving up may seem the only option. The first truth is the concept of impermanence, a fundamental tenet of Buddhist philosophy that teaches us that nothing is eternal, not even our pain. The second truth is the power of perspective, which reveals that much of our suffering is something we create within our own minds. Together, these insights can aid you in discovering an inner strength that can become your ally during tumultuous times. To begin reflecting on these truths, take a moment to ponder the most difficult experience you have faced in your life, an episode marked by profound despair. Perhaps it was the heart-wrenching dissolution of a relationship, the passing of a cherished loved one, or a failure that shattered your confidence. In those moments, the anguish may have felt insurmountable, as if the pain would never cease. Yet here you are today, transformed and resilient. The reality of your past suffering has been recast. It may still echo in your life, but it has also evolved, softened, or even dissipated altogether. This principle embodies the essence of life itself, the notion that everything is in constant flux. The Buddha referred to this ever-changing nature of existence as anicca, emphasizing that just as the seasons change, so too do our experiences. No emotion, whether joy or sorrow, is destined to endure eternally. Consider the illuminating story of a great king who sought wisdom from a revered sage. The king hoped to receive a truth that would guide him through both periods of joy and despair. In response, the sage gifted him a ring inscribed with the words, "This too shall pass." At his lowest moments, the king gazed at the ring and was reminded that even in suffering, there is a temporary nature. Conversely, during times of success and triumph, the ring served as a reminder to remain grounded, for even those moments would eventually recede into the past. If you find yourself grappling with hardships at this moment, take solace in the notion that your current circumstances are not permanent. Just as storms eventually clear and the night surrenders to dawn, so too will your pain evolve and transform. While it may not disappear instantaneously, it will shift into something new. Instead of resisting the natural flow of life, allow yourself to embrace it, realizing that, regardless of how unbearable the present may feel, it is a transient state. Pain is inherent to living, that is an undeniable truth. Yet suffering, how we flail against that pain in our minds, is something we can choose to influence or mitigate. The Buddha illustrated this idea through a parable about a man traversing a forest who was suddenly struck by an arrow. Pain is a natural response to such an experience, it is unavoidable. However, before he can tend to his wound, the man's mind is besieged by relentless questions. Who shot this arrow? Why has this happened to me? What if it occurs again? Will I ever recover? This cascade of thoughts amplifies the agony of his situation and intensifies his suffering. The first arrow symbolizes the unavoidable trials of life, failure, loss, rejection, and illness, all of which are intrinsic to the human experience. The second arrow, however, represents the mental anguish we compound through our thoughts, our fears, doubts, and anxieties that exacerbate suffering. While we often find ourselves powerless in the face of the initial arrow, we hold the power to choose our reaction to it, the response that constitutes the second arrow. Take, for instance, the individual who loses their job. The job loss itself is the first arrow, an undeniable reality entwined with pain. The second arrow, then, emerges from the insidious thoughts that follow. Will I ever find another position? I'm a failure. Those around me will judge my worth. This mental resistance transforms a painful experience into profound suffering. When you confront challenges in your own life, pause to ask, am I compounding this situation with negative thoughts? Am I dwelling in fear, self-pity, or regret? Is it possible to step back and view my circumstances more objectively, without layering additional suffering on top of it? In moments of distress, take a deep breath and acknowledge the pain for what it is. Recognize its presence, but do not allow it to dictate your existence. Your circumstances might not alter instantaneously, but your perspective on those circumstances can shift, and that shift can make all the difference. Although you may feel as if you are on the brink of giving up, remember that despair is a fleeting state. The struggles you encounter today will not define you forever, and the anguish you experience will eventually shift into something less dominating. You cannot always control life's arrows, but you can learn how to avoid shooting the second one. When life appears overwhelming, take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that nothing is permanent, neither the joy we cherish nor the pain we endure, not even the heaviest burdens we carry. By embracing the impermanence of our experiences, we can unearth a profound strength within ourselves, a resilience that motivates us to carry on. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing for more insights to help navigate the intricate landscape of life's challenges. Take heart, and may you find peace in each unfolding moment.